good day. Whenever you're watching, good, whatever that is. Closing the craft room door, even though I know the cat's going to have feelings about it. Alrighty, so session, we are at session 8. Is this 8 or 7 or 8? Anyway, we are in March. It is March something, 2nd or 3rd or something. We're at the beginning of March. I am going to, sorry y'all, I thumped a little too aggressively. So thank you all so much. I've been getting some great feedback that people are really enjoying the video series so far, and that is wonderful to hear because I am interested in supporting everybody's, empowering, I almost said enabling, and it's not wrong, empowering your glitter journey, whatever your glitter journey is. And if you are up and running, that is awesome. And if you are not quite up and running yet, that is also awesome. Feel free to, percolate on it and do it when the time is right for you. So, what are we going to do today? Last time you okay, bud? Okay. Congrats, bud. Maddie just beat the final boss in his game. So, I am brushing my dried lettering. I know it's backwards. I need to figure out. There is a way to do it, and I just don't remember what it is. But she is done. Apart from, we're going to put a little button right there. She is, ooh, I'm actually going to put that little bit of sweepings into my, this is all I have left of that, left with Let's Get Baked that we mixed a couple sessions back. All right, so that one is the sugar is the velvets, green velvet, butterscotch velvet, purple velvet. This one I mixed a little glitter into the velvets, and I'm going to be so for real with y'all. I did one where I just used the extra fine, where I just used the glitter on its own, and I wasn't as in love with it. So, kind of off the clock, if you will, because I am very committed to showing all the steps so that you have a real representation. But I did go in with a little more white paint, and I converted her to a mix. So, nothing wrong with changing your mind, getting onto a different track. And I do want to honestly let y'all know that is what I did because I liked it so much better. I thought it was worth it to go back in and change that. So last time we made some transfers. Y'all will perhaps remember or revisit or whatever that we did some transfers. So today we get to place our transfers. I wrote directly on the shoe for this one, and that is a thing that I sometimes do because I have a pretty steady hand and I'm pretty confident in my ability to fix it if something happens that I'm not into. But on this one, I'm going to place a transfer. And I will also point out, you can probably see this one is a little bit wider. It's an easier space to get my hand into. This one's a little bit more closed off, so a transfer is a little bit of a better fit. So what I've got here is the transfer I made last time. I did gold paint and Bittersweet Symphony, which is a nice chocolate brown. She's nice and ready to go. She's peeling up clean and easy. And I think I'm gonna pick, I like this M and this, I think I'm gonna go with that. But I kind of like that she's a little swirlier. I think I'm gonna use this one. I think I'm gonna do this one because I think that's the most swirly. So what I've got here is a mini tube of E6000. That's how I'm gonna place my transfer. I'm going to try to do this in such a way that it shows. And I will also reiterate that over on the NOLA Craft Culture YouTube, we do have a video that's called Basics of Throw Glittering. And it's like a half-hour long, and it'll take you through the whole thing start to finish. It doesn't necessarily go into a truckload of detail on any particular step, but if you are new and if you are feeling a little adrift, great place to start. So at Craft Culture, we sell these. It's backwards so you can't see it. It's $6.50 and it's a transfer application kit. It includes 2 mini E6000 tubes, 8 large wooden stir sticks, 100 small toothpicks, and a storage case. And so that is terrific. I am down to my last 2 toothpicks, so I'm going to probably need another one of those, but, oh, and I have one here. So I've got 3 toothpicks. Hopefully that's enough to get us through. So what am I going to do here? I had an empty, I like a empty plastic bag to do. Here we go. So I've got an empty plastic bag here. I don't know what she was storing, but she's not storing anything right now. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to take my transfer. Use this M. All right. So I've got her there. Can y'all see? I have her glitter side down, so paint side up. I'm going to take my E6000. And I know this is a little tough to see, so I do recommend kind of using the, taking a peek. Maddie, shh, quiet, bud. I do recommend kind of taking a peek over at the NOLA Craft Culture video because I do some overhead stuff and it's just a little easier to follow. But what I'm doing here is I squeezed a little puddle of my E6000 and I'm just kind of, all right. So now I'm going to put that inside my king cake. Ba-ba-ba. I think that's pretty good. And I like that the toothpicks have the pointy end and the blunt end, and I kind of use the blunt end to like pat it down a little bit. So she's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Let me scooch that a smidge. E6000 is nice because you do have a little bit of time to kind of reconsider your choices. M. And I cover a lot. I have a class on transfers, and it is an hour and a half of just tips and tricks and demo, and this is a shortcut and this helps you out. It is my favorite workshop that I teach because I think it's extremely, it puts a lot of, I always say it puts a lot of tools in your glitter toolkit. So if you're wanting to get a little better at transfers, I do one of those about once a month. My March one is sold out. My March workshop sold out very quickly. I think people are feeling like they need to get going on with the short carnival, and it's me, I'm people. But what I'm doing, and I cover this in my transfer class, so there are some tips that I will cover. I went ahead and cut that into pieces to make it easier for me to place. If you have a big, long, I love to use script because I think the letters kind of naturally space themselves out. So I have the U and the S, the us, and the E and the S. S. I'm going to take a little bit more of my E6000. I do have my window. It is no burden to have my window open right now. It's gorgeous. All right. Spring in New Orleans, man. It just, you fall in love with everything. All right. So I painted a little bit of E6000 on the back, on the paint side. That's my glitter side. Now I'm going to roll that in. Can y'all see? And I'm going to scooch it a little bit. Got a little bit of a scooch window, so I'm going to scooch it just a little closer. I tried to do it upside down because I thought I was slick, but I'm not slick. MUS. And then another little puddle of E6000. And then I immediately close the tube because the thing about E6000 is it all wants to come gushing out of the tube. As soon as the tube is open, it's just got big plans to see the world. Alrighty. And so I've got the that's the paint side that has the glue on it, and that's the glitter side. So I'm going to put it back together when I put it in my shoe. Easy peasy. And you can see it's flipped, so it's hard to read, I guess. But you can see that the U and the S and then the E, you can't see that I cut that apart. So you can cut your transfer down if you need to cut your transfer down. If you want to, if she's fighting you a little bit and you would like her to be a little bit more cooperative, you can kind of cut it into pieces and wrestle the pieces individually. All right, so now she's got her transfer. My hot glue gun is good. And I would normally place like a whole bunch of transfers, but you know, we're doing it the way we're doing it. A little, you know, a few little steps at a time. I don't need to beat myself up for not being maximum efficiency. All right, and so I, of course, popped her little baby off because I wanted to re-sugar her, and I stand by it. I really like the re-sugaring. I will say on this one, I kind of lost the white of the frosting a little bit, but you know, everyone comes out a little different. All right, so then there are my three girls. And she still needs the year, so I will probably put it on the heel. I think that's a good spot. But where are my Where, oh, my pearls. So I want to drop things. I want to do one little pearl on the back, because this is like a nitty-gritty thing, but like if you're gonna do it, you might as well like do it. You know, go a little hard on the details if it feels good to you. You can also call them right here and be like, we're good, ready to roll. That's fine as well. But me, myself, personally, y'all can see at the spot where I've joined the trim, it's just a little, it's not hideous or anything, but I want to put one little dollop, and it's a nice iridescent white, like a little drop of frosting. And I just think that's pretty. I just think that looks a little more finished, just a tiny little bit more polished. The itty bitty little details. Maybe nobody notices but you are important to please as well. And then, come on. All right, so just scraping off a spot where my hot glue got a little bit, colored a little bit outside the lines. All right, so 1, 2, 3. That's just a little something I do to make it, put a little button on it. So these two are now, these are totally done. Look at me with my 2 finished 2027 shoes. And we're barely into March, baby. We did not make 6 shoes in February, even though our goal is 6 shoes a month. But February was a special case. I'm not mad about it. And I've got 2 done. I will say I did the white and the cinnamon brown. I do like the brown a little better. The white is pretty, but I think the brown is a little bit more impactful, a little bit more, it stands out a little bit more. And I like my lettering to stand out. Like, it's a Muses shoe. Check it out. All right, so these 2 girls are done. What I am gonna do, just if you're curious what my storage situation is I have these thin cotton candy bags. We sell these at the glitter store. We sell them in 100 pack. I can flip it around and show y'all kind of what my setup is. So I've got them hanging up on, I put 2 nails in the door frame and I just hang them up. Please ignore all the mess and the boxes. It's a work in progress, all right? So I'm gonna temporarily store my girls in these. I do not throw in these. I don't have any, I'm not shading anyone who does throw in these. I personally like the heavier bags because I think they just feel more special and like gifts. But, so if you use the thinner bags as your throw bags, that's totally Jake with me. But I'm gonna put her in the bag so that like nothing gets on her. No paint, no glitter, no dust. So when I am ready to actually bag her, I will be ready to bag her in a real bag. But for now, and I'm sure we'll do that together. I'm sure that will be part of the Project Shoe Marathon. But for now, I'm putting finished girls in their little cotton candy bags. And make sure they're actually dry before you do this. You don't want to trap a bunch of glue fumes in the bag. That just doesn't seem like a good situation. So you want her to be actually dry. Hot glue doesn't really have fumes, so I'm okay on that. But those are my 2 finished girls. I will put them in a box. I will write on the side of the box what's in the box, because if I put it away and it's out of sight, it is out of mind. And then for her, for my last girly, I am going to let her dry out. I'm going to let her air out for at least probably 48 hours before I put her in a temporary bag. And then what I'm going to do real quick before I set her aside and let her kind of percolate before she's ready to be put away to spend the year dreaming of her ride, I'm going to write 2027 on the heel here real quick with my, and I could do this as a transfer, but it's also fine for me to do 2027. And I gotta say, this is only the 3rd time I'm writing it on a shoe, but every time I write 2027 on a shoe, I feel a little better. I feel a little more ready. I feel a little more excited. So I'm just gonna, pace myself with that through the year. And I am putting this, it's important that you not, like, be cautious of your angles. Sometimes I put glitter and I go, and it blows back in my face, and you don't want to get glitter in your eyes. I just did the thing I said not to do, but I knew she wasn't too glittery. If there's a lot of glitter, don't go and create that dust of glitter in your face. That is not great for your eyes. And, you know, it would probably not be a terrible thing to wear safety goggles, but, you know, 2027, here we come. So yeah, I'm gonna let her dry out, but when she dries, she's good. She's gonna get put in a little cotton candy bag with her sisters, and we're all gonna be ready to roll. So the other thing I want to do today, because there's so very, very much I would like to do, but what do I want to do today is put the next coat of silver on the pizza slices, because I was kind of steadily doing both of them and like kind of trucking along, and then the king cake shoes started to look kind of close to done, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna go focus on those. Totally reasonable. Sometimes getting a project across the finish line, sometimes that makes you feel, sometimes you need that little boost. So we ran out of glue last time, as y'all will recall. So we're gonna do a little bit more glue. I don't put like a ton, even though it stays plenty moist in my bag. I don't put like a ton, just because I think I just like to work in smaller, cleaner batches. All right, let me get the Aleene's open. Woo! Test of strength today. Which, you know, it's normal. It's a bottle of glue, so it is going to glue itself shut. All right, y'all. Well, we're going to have to, when going gets tough, the tough we're going to have to get going. And this is why I alternate between complaining that my scissors aren't very sharp and absolutely ruining my scissors. So, you know, it's not like I don't know. All right, great. Bloop, bloop, bloop. That is not ideal, but if your glue doesn't want to come open, and I'm going to put that in the sealed bag as well so that it doesn't dry out. You know, you got to make it work sometimes. And that's how you know that I'm not doing a lot of pre-planning, that I'm just in here winging it. Okay. Okay. Our mix of glue. So we've got our pizzas. So last time we put the crusts on those and glittered them. And you will recall that my hoarder tendencies were indulged. I got to use some toga belt rope and felt pretty chuffed about it. I'm a little low on my silver because I did also do some other pizza shoes. So I'm gonna paint my glue. And now, because this is a top coat, I do want to be pretty careful on my edge. I don't want any silver spilling over onto my pizza crust. I mean, glitter is a pretty forgiving medium, so it's not like anyone's going to look at it and be like, oh, hideous. But this is when I do my second coats, I do kind of try to keep the edge relatively clean, and I'll show y'all kind of what that looks like. Right, and I can get my little brush too and cut in a little bit if I need to. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. All right, so y'all can see I tried to keep the edge clean. I tried to not have a bunch of glue creeping up into the area where I have the crust. And looking at it from a different angle can help you find some spots that you didn't get. And I'm gonna do, holding it by the crust, I'm gonna also do the heel, so that next time all I need to do is the whole bottom, the sole. Okay, looking good, looking good. And that spot is a little bit lumpy, so I'm probably gonna shave it a little bit before I trim it, and I can show y'all kind of what that looks like. I do not have a razor handy, and also I wouldn't do it while the glue was wet. It's very tempting. As soon as I notice a mistake I want to, or not a mistake, as soon as I notice something that I want to fix, I want to fix it. And usually I have to wait. And my God, what is worse than waiting? What torture. What torture it is to wait. All right, so she looks pretty good. I do see one speck of confetti kind of sitting where she shouldn't. So I'm going to move her off of there. And, you know, if I cleaned my stuff a little better, it would be less of an issue, but I say you pick your flavor of inconvenience, and this is the flavor of inconvenience that I have selected. One person's, oh my God, I would never take the time to do that, is another person's, I'll just do it like this. No tea, no shade, no pink, lemonade. All right, so that's one done. So she doesn't look much different, you know. That's one that has one coat, that's one that has two coats, you know. It's not a big difference right now, but it just, I always do 2 coats. So that's just, if that's just my peace of mind and that's all it is, then that's enough for me. But if you're doing single coats and getting consistently excellent results, good for you. Love that for you. With light and love, I am very happy for you. But it ain't me. I will say mixing the Aleenes in is helping a lot. I was noticing the glitter not really gripping as much with just plain Mod Podge last year. I don't know if I changed, or the glitter changed, or the glue changed, or I just noticed different things. But a little Aleenes in the Mod Podge is definitely helping me out. I am forever grateful to my delightful business partner, Lizette, for many, many things, for too many things to number. The reasons I have to be grateful to Lizette are, God, they outnumber the stars. But she did turn me on to Mod Podge mixed with a little Aleenes, and whew, that one is a solid gold tip. Because I, for years and years, was just using straight Mod Podge. And I do occasionally, for some things, still use just regular Mod Podge, just out of the jug. But I know I'm really like singing the praises of this glittering glue combo of glues for glittering. But if I like it, I'm gonna say so. So I have gotten excellent feedback so far on the videos, and that is delightful and much appreciated and really helps me stay motivated. I will let y'all know the internet is kind of a weird place, so I'm kind of contemplating some options that I would like to continue to generate my content. I would like to continue to be available to y'all. I might not be able to be as available as I have been. Just, you know, the internet is a strange place, and we gotta find a balance between availability and safety. So just so y'all know, I'm kind of contemplating some concepts that I do not want to. I would like it to be as easy as possible to consume my content, but we'll see what I end up doing. So I'm exploring some stuff. This is all new. I've talked a little bit about how I kind of platform hop as it makes sense to me, that I started with my blog and kind of moved from format to format. She is also a little bit, I think the X-Acto knife I used to take these straps off was really needed to be retired, and I was making her come back in and do one more shift at the shoe factory that she was not really interested in doing. And so that's me. I think we're gonna get there. I think this little bit of glitter, I shouldn't jinx myself like that. I'll spill it all if I do that, but I think I'm gonna get through the last of these shoes. And I do think absolutely 100%, if you're doing 3 or 4 pizza slices, 2 ounces of DEA badge should be no problem. People are always like, oh, how much, how much should I expect the glitter to cover, like how many shoes? And that really depends on like how careful you are at this stage. When your glitter is, if at this point you're really splashing it around and you're not able to cleanly return it to your jar, then you're going to go through more glitter. But if you try to kind of keep it tidy and kind of work in batches of similar colors and save your especial and stuff, you can stretch it pretty far, because it doesn't actually take that much glitter to cover the surface area. So it's really more about how careful you are and how fastidious. And I have absolutely, especially if I'm using like my especial mixes, I tend to, splash that around a little bit more. Generously isn't the word, but a little more capriciously. I'm a little bit more capricious with it. So that's kind of, your mileage may vary, but I do think a 2-ounce jar of DEA badge silver with like half of a jar of Ceylon Silver Girl, that should absolutely get you through your 4 shoes, even if you aren't like sweeping up every little molecule. So even if you're like medium, that should be plenty. But if that is not the case for you, if you're like, oh, Nori told me a 2-ounce jar would be plenty and it wasn't, let me know, because I'm, open to hearing these things. I would like to know what's like my experience versus the experience. I'm always interested in hearing that. Okay, kind of trying to, I sort of like, you can kind of see me like tapping. I'm kind of like, rather than sweeping, I kind of cut in a little bit more carefully. Make sure I get it all, because this is the last coat. Ooh. I spoke too soon. I might have to touch up my crust a little bit, but I'm going to see how I feel about it when it dries. Sometimes I think, oh, and then it dries. I'm like, oh, no, that's fine. So keep an eye on it, but also you do not have to commit to changing anything until it's actually dry and done and brushed. It ain't over till it's over. And I will say that if you do like a spike where you put like a little confetti into your glitter directly, and I don't recommend doing that with anything above a 1 millimeter, and only certain combinations of colors, because stuff won't stick as well, and sometimes the glitter like just doesn't look as pretty. But certain combos you can spike, which is what I call it when you mix the confetti directly into the glitter, or the extra fine or the fine into the ultra fine. But I wouldn't go above 1 millimeter personally. And we have some mixes at Craft Culture that are like specially formulated. So like our goddesses, our cocktails, our gemstone series, our heavenly bodies, those are a mix of sizes, but they are formulated to have good cover and good adherence. If you're just mixing at home, you should absolutely play around with it, but it's going to be a little bit tougher to get that balance without kind of the level of formulation that we do. But you can put 1 millimeter into ultrafine most color combos and get pretty good results, especially if you're doing like to like. So if you have like Ruby Slipper and you're putting that into Mom's Creole Tomato, mwah, sensational. Absolutely do that. And of course, DEA badge with Ceylon Silver Girl is like one of my favorites. I will say that when you do that, when you do a spike, you will notice that as you get to the end of the jar, you will have a higher ratio of confetti to ultrafine. That's normal. That's kind of part of it. It does not bother me at all to have a little bit more confetti, but if it bothers you, just bear in mind that you might want to thin it out as you go, because the bigger, the smaller stuff is going to more preferentially kind of stick. So over time, you're basically like enriching the amount of confetti in your mix, and that's normal. And it's not an issue. It sticks just fine, but okie doke. So those are our 4 pizza shoes. They got their silver coat. So next time, all we need to do on our pizzas is the bottom, and then we're ready to start putting sauce. Our silver, I do a silver trim all the way around the bottom, and we'll do our sauce, and we'll do our toppings, and we'll be pretty close, and then we'll do our, I like to do a red and green transfer, the color of my toppings. It's very pretty. I'll show you how I do it. Very pretty in my opinion. I'll show you how I do it. I've got a ton of pizza shoes that I'm making, so I'm going to keep on making those. Actually, I bet real quick we could start on our next one. I bet we could do that. I do want to grab a shower off the glitter before dinner, but I think we can do it. Let's do it. Let's be wild. So next time we're going to do our silver coat on our pizzas. And I do kind of want to show y'all what I'm doing kind of off the books is the wrong way of putting it. I'm definitely doing the whole shoe marathon. I want to film all of that. I want that to feel like representative. But I'm also working on other stuff because, you know, here and there one does. So since I had my Baked with Love handy, I was like, all right, why don't I go ahead and finish up some shoes that I started. So a big part of my shoe making process is I teach workshops, and I love that so much. It's so awesome, and I love hanging out with people and glittering and showing people the weird thoughts that are going through my head. Love it so much. That being said, when I do a workshop, I do tend to have a bunch of shoes that are like partially complete. So we were doing birthday cake shoes with ice cream cones, because like cake and ice cream. And I know that you don't do an ice cream cone with a slice of birthday cake, but I don't know. Yeah, artistic license. So during that class, I started a couple of shoes. So I figured, like, why don't I go ahead and finish those? So I kind of picked her up and gave her a nice coat of Baked with Love on her cone, on her heel. And I started another one, or I worked on another one. I had a cone in progress that I hadn't put on a shoe quite yet. So she is going to also be a birthday cake, and then I do ice cream, and I do 2 scoops of ice cream so that it's kind of pretty. And I maybe will work on these on the clock on a video. I don't know. I have to kind of see, but I am kind of working on these. So I make the slices of cake out of kitchen sponges, because that looks like cake. It looks kind of porous. And I put a little bit of crystal glitter on there so it's glittery, but right now I know it doesn't look like much, but once it's all put together. And so I've got this one has got its cake, and I started the cone, started the scoop, started the cone. This one just has its cone, but it's going to get its cake. And I'll show you one that's a little further along. You can tell how I'm walking that my space is very cluttered at the moment. So this one is the furthest along of any of them. It has the slice of cake with some filling. I've got the candles on there. I put some of my little, like, my glue gun's still hot. I put some of my little, we sell these. This is what happens if you don't put them in the cotton candy bags. They kind of pick up little, and it's fine. It brushes off, but let me be a cautionary tale there. So she needs some more work. She needs some more fake frosting. She needs some glitter. She needs her second scoop on top. You know, just some things that she needs to be ready to roll. The reason I like to do birthday cakes is I specifically really enjoy finding specific signs when I'm out on my ride. I like to, if I see a sign that says it's someone's birthday, I think it's really fun to throw them a little birthday cake. And sometimes I write on there, happy birthday. You know, I just think that's fun. I really enjoy making the cakes. You can see the fake frosting. The fake frosting is glitter snow that I pipe. Maybe I'll do like a mini, like not a full video, but like a little kind of once over on how I do these. So shoes like these, it's like a 3-hour long workshop. I can't really hop on and knock it out in a video, because I like to be able to kind of hold hands and walk people through stuff. And I just think it's some designs are just better suited to an in-person workshop. And then some things I can do in here like this. All right. So real quick, where did I put my girls? I had the shoes for this. If I don't have them in here, that's maybe my sign that Oh, they're right here. Okay, so I thrifted a couple of cute little shoes, cutie pies. Very nice. So this pair, and then, you know, this one here is pretty cute. She could have been a pizza shoe for sure, but I already have so many. So I kind of got these cute little pointy girls. Easy peasy. What I will say about these is that they are nice and smooth. You want to use a smooth surface to use a velvet. And that's my segue into what we're going to do here is I got a jar of one of my favorite velvets. All the velvets are very beautiful. There's like 10 velvets, and this process would work with any of them. I got wave velvet. I got 3, because I'm doing 3 shoes. I got 3 5-packs of the chiffon flowers that we sell at Craft Culture in little 5-packs. And so I just matched. I matched my chiffon to my velvet. Easy peasy. So let's get started glittering these. Put my glue over here. So let's just get started on these. This would work with any of we have green velvet. Oh, she's a little wonk. That's all right. A little repair never hurt anyone. So she's coming apart a little bit at the seams, but that's okay. She does not need to walk anymore. She gets to, you know, she's not going to be working anymore. She's just going to be on display. So she doesn't quite need the same level of structural integrity. She can relax and be pretty for a while, which wouldn't that be nice? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and glitter this. I think I'm going to, this is kind of wiggling a little bit, so I'm going to just lightly, I'm going to cover that with flowers so it's not a big deal, but I'm going to just lightly put a little hot glue in there just so she doesn't wiggle waggle while I'm glittering. And yeah, so we've got purple, green, butterscotch. We've got purple, green, and gold. We've got a really pretty pink, like a ballerina, like a ballet slipper pink. Really love her. She would be very pretty. I am going to do a little bit later. I'm going to show y'all. We're going to do some champagne shoes. And on those, I'm probably going to try some different pinks and see who speaks to me. So I was talking last time about how totally viable to kind of do the same concept and make small changes so you can do a side-by-side comparison. And I think today I'm just going to do, let me see. Let me get that done because I do want to grab a shower. So I think I'm just going to do the first one and then we'll come back and do the other 2. But we're going to get started and it'll feel good to get started, even if it's just the first little baby step. But there are other things to attend to and I do not want to. All right, so got her glittered or got her glued. I'm going to put the first coat of my wave velvet, my powder blue velvet. The great thing about the velvets is that they are really high cover. So even though this is a nice light blue, and even if I were using white or the ballet slipper pink, 2 coats on the shoe is going to completely cover it. We love a high cover glitter because it spares us the step where we prime it. And sometimes we have to prime, and I will absolutely be doing some priming in this series. But it's exciting to get started. So the velvets, I always say, they don't sparkle, but they glow. They've got a little bit of that pearlescent quality to them. So a really fun glitter to put into your glittering apparatus. And so that's just the first coat on the first one. Next time we will do first coats on these. And then what we're going to do is use our coordinated. That's really all. Sometimes that's all you need. You shouldn't put this on wet glitter, but, you know, do as I say, not as I do. Sometimes that's all you need. So that's what we're going to do for these, the next chill shoes. And of course, we've got all the stuff ready to roll to do our po' boys. And I would like to get some materials. I would like a minute to get some materials together because I'm going to have some stuff, some free or cheap stuff at the glitter store if you want to do the po' boys with me. So, you know, give me a minute to get my ducks in a row. But she's already very pretty. Once she gets a second coat, she's going to be powder blue heaven. And then we'll give her some chiffon flowers. And then that'll be plenty. Plenty is plenty. So thank you all, as always, for the feedback. It's been it's been great to hear. So let me know, what things you want to see, what things are working for you, what things are helpful to you in your glitter journey. And I will see you guys the next time I'm in here. But hey, 2 shoes down, that is not nothing, and we are rolling. So that's what counts, that we keep it rolling. So y'all have a great evening, and I will see y'all later.